Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Practical Magic. And this movie came out in 1998, and I was kind of curious to check out this movie because there's a sequel coming out later this year, and I was like, okay, let's see what this one had to offer. And my favorite thing about it was that it was a movie that came out in the 90s, and when it comes to 90s films, I do have somewhat of a soft spot for those types of films in terms of a look and overall tone and aesthetic. It's just kind of nostalgic for me and something that I do enjoy seeing. And I was like, okay, that's something to like at least. And I did enjoy some of the setups towards the beginning, and I was like, okay, that's kind of fun and interesting. And we're taking witches, and we're not like making them antagonist characters, but rather protagonist characters who just want to coexist with everyone. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit different. And Nicole Kidman was fine in it. I didn't hate her at all. I felt as though, yeah, you're not the worst part of the movie. And I do feel as though the music wasn't terrible in this, although I don't really remember it. I just remember not hating it. And all I wrote down in my notes was that I don't hate the music. And what I mean by that is the original score for the film. I was like, yeah, that doesn't bother me too much. But one thing that kind of surprised me about this movie was during action or moments of action, whenever we would get that, the editing would be very choppy or it would be very poorly shot, way too close, couldn't really make out what's going on, and it just felt all thrown together and I couldn't make out what was going on. To top all of that off, there really isn't much action in the movie, and it just feels random and it doesn't feel as though it's a part of the story at all. And I couldn't even really tell you what the plot of this movie was because for most of the movie, it feels like it doesn't have a plot whatsoever. It just feels like random things happening, and sure, eventually you do get to some conflict, but after a certain point, it kind of feels absent and you don't really know what you're following, and because of that, it just becomes kind of dull. And I just wish the movie was a lot shorter or had more to offer. And I wasn't really a fan of Sandra Bullock in this movie. It's just her performance just felt insincere to me, and I never once felt as though I was watching a character. I just felt as though I was watching Sandra Bullock, and the child acting in this movie wasn't great either. I never once believed any of their performances. They just were kids on screen and didn't add anything to the movie. And the whole film felt like it was a lesser version of an Addams Family movie to me, where I would much rather watch that. Like, those know what they are a bit more. Whereas this, I wasn't connecting with the humor, I wasn't connecting with the characters or the story or anything, and it was just very hollow for me to watch. There's no fun dynamics in this movie. I would have loved to connect with these characters on any level, but couldn't do that in this movie. They offered nothing to me. I never felt any tension throughout this film, and there's basically no third act to this movie, and there's no build up to it either, which kind of makes it feel as though calling it a third act is like a loose concept. It barely has a second act, this movie, if you even want to call it that. It just feels like either build up or a lot of scenes of nothing happening, and we get some conflict towards the end, and the movie's over. Great. But I will say this, not saying this as a positive, but a thought that I had while watching this movie. And I do feel as though what would have fixed a lot of the issues with this movie, for me at least, would be if you just got Sam Raimi to direct it. To be perfect. It would fix a lot of the issues, honestly. This movie was very soundtrack heavy as well, and the songs weren't necessarily like the worst things ever. They were a bit nostalgic for me, but also kind of obnoxious. But also didn't really add to the film either, in my opinion. And that's about all I have to say about Practical Magic. I got nothing out of it. It was very hollow and bland to me, very boring. Never gonna watch it again. Will I check out the sequel? We'll see how that pans out, but definitely not watching this one again. I can say that for sure. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Practical Magic a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Practical Magic, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Guarding Tess. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.